Sixers fans, welcome back. And if you guys haven't done so already, don't forget to like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be breaking down summer hoops for the Sixers all summer long. I'm also going to be breaking down other teams, other rookies, people that you guys want to see. So let me know in the comment section who you want me to break down first, what games or players do you want me to talk about next. But in this video, we're going to talk about my Philadelphia 76ers. Now, you guys know me, I'm a coach, so I take some notes while I watch the game. So the first guy I want to talk about is Jaden Springer. Now, Jaden Springer was very up and down in this game. First, I want to talk about the pros. I believe that he was by far the best athlete that was on the floor. I mean, he showed glimpses of being a lockdown perimeter defender because of that athleticism. There was a play in the first quarter where he blocked a shot where his head was at the rim. I mean, the guy was a superior athlete, and that bodes well moving forward if he's going to be a 3-and-D guy, because to be a 3-and-D guy, well, you got to play defense, right? Flip side of that is the 3 side of it, and he was 0 for 2 from 3. He does not look like a polished shooter. He does not look like an NBA shooter at this stage. Now, it's easy to forget. Jaden Springer is only 19 years old. The guy is younger than Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren, who just got drafted a month ago, right? He's a super young player with a lot of room to grow, but he is showing glimpses. Another thing that I felt was a positive offensively was he showed the ability to get to the basket and both finish at the rim and draw fouls. Off the bounce, he doesn't do a great job scoring the ball as far as pulling up in the mid-range, but he did show that he can get all the way to the cup, and when he was there, he knew what to do with it. At the free throw line, he shot 7 for 10, which again, 70%, you want to be a little bit better than that, but if he's going to be able to get to the line and draw fouls, well, that's a positive for his style of play because of the athlete he is. So Jaden Springer overall, I need to see more offensively, but I have to keep in mind he is super young with a lot of room to grow, and defensively and athletically, he looks like an NBA player. He just has to polish that offensive game. Next guy we're going to talk about is Paul Reed. Paul Reed was without a doubt the best player on the floor on either team. Paul Reed was the best player in that game. He had 20 points, 15 rebounds. He just looked bigger, faster, stronger than everybody on the floor that he was matched up against. He was outworking everybody, getting offensive rebounds, putbacks. He even showed the ability to shoot the ball from the outside. He knocked down a three-point shot. I mean, the guy, he's an NBA player. We know he's an NBA player. The Sixer knows he's an NBA player. But there is something that I've realized the more and more I watch Paul Reed. And I think it is perhaps the reason why Doc Rivers has not been playing him as much as we as fans would like to see him play. He has to be the 4 at the NBA level. He was playing backup center to Joel Embiid, and a lot of people were screaming for him to play backup center over DeAndre Jordan. But the fact of the matter is, he's just too small. Like, he's probably 6'8", even though they list him as 6'9". He does not jump very high. All over his Twitter, he's been talking about how he's been improving his vertical leap. It started at a 28. My vertical leap is higher than 28 inches, and I'm not an NBA guy that has to go and block shots and protect the rim, right? He's not the interior presence that you need from a 5. He's not a great shot blocker. He's not a great athlete as far as his jumping ability, and he's only 6'8", 6'9". He doesn't have super long arms. He has to be a 4. So the fact that I saw him able to stretch the floor and knock down some threes and look comfortable out there, that's a plus. I think as Sixers fans, we need to start reframing our thought process on Paul Reed and not look at him as a backup 5 to Joel Embiid, but look at him as a 4 in hopes that he could play alongside Joel Embiid. If he continues to develop his ability to shoot the ball and to be able to shoot from outside to go along with the athleticism he has laterally, I believe he can guard opposing team 4s. All of a sudden, if he turns into a stretch 4, I believe he's a much more viable option and a much bigger impact player for the Sixers. Since we're talking about Paul Reed, let's switch gears and talk about Charles Bassey. Charles Bassey was probably the most disappointing guy, in my opinion, that I watched last night. I expected him to look more dominant from a physical standpoint. I believe Charles Bassey, although also 6'9", he is super athletic when it comes to his jumping ability. He jumps very high, he has long arms, and he has what Jay Billis calls that second jump ability. Like, he's able to hit the ground and get right back up. And that's something that he showed flashes of last year, both at the NBA level and in the G League. And I was expecting to see him dominate last night, but he just didn't look right. Like, he didn't look as quick as he usually does. He didn't look as explosive as he usually does. He didn't do much on offense or defense. He was kind of just there. And I was really disappointed to see that because he was one of the main guys that I was looking for. I expect Paul Reed to play well in these games. I don't even expect Paul Reed to be there much longer. I feel like they're going to be like, you know what? You're good. Let's get him back home, unless they're expecting him to turn into that 4 that I just talked about. But Charles Bassey was a guy I was really expecting to elevate his game and show a level of dominance in the Summer League that he just did not show last night. Doesn't mean he won't moving forward, but I was disappointed in what I saw from him personally last night, but I want to know what you guys think. Were you guys as disappointed as Charles Bassey as I was? Let me know in the comments section. And the last guy that I'm going to talk about in detail is Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe has been like a hot button topic among Sixers fans. I feel like everybody thought he should have played a hell of a lot more last year. I was kind of like on the fence about it. Like, would he help? Maybe, maybe not. Should he get a shot? Sure, I guess, but I wasn't really upset he wasn't playing. But he got a ton of minutes last night. And Isaiah Joe is a really, really good shooter on catch and shoot opportunities. And with the Sixers team, when you have Maxey handling the ball, you have, of course, Harden handling the ball, Tobias Harris, who can create off the bounce. He's mostly going to be in catch and shoot opportunities. It fits what we need him to do. However, I did notice once he puts the ball on the floor, he's a completely different player. Like, he does not look as comfortable shooting off the bounce as he does on catch and shoot threes. Now, he did hit a couple mid-range jump shots off the bounce, but again, it didn't look like he was as comfortable. It looked very kind of robotic, if you will, and he looked a little stiff. On those catch and shoot, I mean, it looked like he was in rhythm, he was in flow, and he looked super comfortable. He only shot 4 of 12 from 3, which if you're only going to be a shooter, you got to shoot better than 33%, but it's just one game, it's just one night. I'm not saying that's who he is, but I will say, I think if you watch the film, he looks super comfortable catching and shooting the ball. He doesn't look as comfortable when he has to put the ball on the floor. However, I would also like to add that defensively, he did show me some things. Like, I was never sure if he'd be a great defender or even a plus defender, but he actually showed some glimpses where he looked like he could be a pretty good perimeter defender. Now, you have to take this all through the prism of he's playing against other guys in Summer League. These are guys who are fighting for positions, fighting for jobs, or young players. They're not established pros. But the fact that he showed some lateral quickness, the fact that he showed the ability to stay in front of guys, and I even think he got his hand on a couple of balls, like, that's definitely something to keep an eye on moving forward. Can he be the 3-and-D guy that we thought Springer might be at some point down the line, or who we thought Matisse Thybulle could be if he developed a shot? Maybe Isaiah Joe could fill that role. Last little tidbits I just want to throw out there are some surprises from watching the game. Grant Riller and Cassius Winston. Those two guards showed an ability to establish tempo and pace in the game that I wasn't really expecting from those guys. Grant Riller in particular, watching him last night, I was like, yo, this is a guy who I think is going to get some NBA time this year, if not with the Sixers, somewhere else. Because not only was he in complete control of the offense and in complete control of controlling the tempo, pushing when he wanted to push, slowing it down when he wanted to slow down, he also showed great ability and pace in the pick and roll game, which is prioritized in the NBA. He had a couple pull-up jump shots out of pick and roll. He found the lift on the corner guy lifting up on the backside in pick and roll offense. Like, he did a lot of really good things. And then Cassius Winston, same thing with him. He's super smart. We know that from his time in Michigan State. But the thing with Cassius Winston is, I think sometimes what was the problem is just always going to be the problem, and that's his athleticism. He didn't really show glimpses of athleticism. He definitely has transformed his body. He looks like he's in better shape. I just still don't know if he's the athlete required to be a point guard in the NBA. Grant Riller, on the other hand, showed some glimpses of that athleticism, right? He had a couple dunks in transition, one of them in traffic late in the game. But those two guys were definitely surprises. They played super well last night, and I'm curious what they're going to look like moving forward. That is my breakdown of the first Summer League game, the first time we got to see some of these guys in action in a really long time. But I want to hear from you guys, Sixers fans. Who did you like? Who did you not like? What was a pleasant surprise? What was disappointing? Sound off in the comment section below. If you guys like the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support this channel moving forward, you can become a member today. Yes, that link is in the description below. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.